an argument?
I said a positive
You're
predicate.
doing this exchange by calling me dumb in the
A
conversation.
positive predicate. A positive predicate. That's what
A
I said.
positive predicate? So what
Yes.
makes a positive predicate a positive predicate?
You're affirming something of a thing, not the lack of something.
So you don't think I'm affirming something of God and I'm saying God is uncaused, you dumb fuck retard?
You're affirming the lack of something, the lack of a cause.
Do you understand the lack of something is something in itself, so it's still positive predicate, idiot?
No. You're entailing the lack of something.
Yeah, why is it the case that affirming the lack of something is not affirming anything?
I didn't say it's not affirming anything. I said it's not
okay, so
affirming,
that means it's affirming something, and that's a condition for something being a positive.
You're an idiot. You're affirming that this has
you telling me it's not an argument, by the way, just to be clear, retard. So I'm just going to expect like an actual intelligent response this time, right? So given your concept of what the positive predicate actually is, it would be the case that uncaused as a property is a positive predicate.
No.
And so it is a property. No is not an argument, by the way. It's a non-point. So I'm expecting the counter argument to what I just said a while ago. So go ahead, retard.
What was my definition of a positive predicate again?
And now you forgot your definition, so you want me to repeat your definition? Got you.
Oh,
so
no,
your definition,
you understand it because you're trying to appeal.
Yeah, you forgot your own definition. You forgot the point that you're actually on in the conversation.
No,
That's fine. So just calm the fuck down. You're spurring the fuck out right now. So your definition of what a property actually is originally was something which can be displayed. Then you change the definition to something which is a positive predicate. Then I ask you, what actually is a positive predicate? To which your response is simply something which is affirming something of something else. And so, given that concept, it would be the case that saying that a being is uncaused is a positive predicate because you're affirming something of something else, which is the lack of something. You're autistic bimbo. So I'm expecting an intelligent response this time without you making ad hoc. Or you're dumb or you're retarded.
Paul, you just displayed how you're retarded. You're affirming that this thing has a lack.
I'm retarded by talk to a retard?
Be quiet. You're saying you're affirming that this thing has a lack of a cause. Not saying that. Well, you're not affirming something of this thing. You're affirming a lack of something.
Oh wow, we just conceded. Oh, congrats, dog.
That's
Look,
a
you
negative
disagreed. I'm affirming something, which is the lack of something else.
No, you're affirming this thing has something. In this case, you're affirming this thing has a lack of something.
What makes something something? What are the necessary conditions for something to be something?
For something to be something?
Yeah, what's the concept of something? What do you think determines a thing being something?
It having being. What can I say?
You're so fucking lost. Holy shit, take your time, retard.
I just explained it to you.
You didn't explain shit, by the way.
I did. You didn't hear me. I said
has
being.
Re-give your explanation.
Has been.
Has been. Has been.
Yes.
Okay. So what do you mean by has been?
It exists.
It exists. Okay, so it would be the case that uncaused would be a property because it is a thing which exists of God. Is a part of God's essence. It is a part of reality.
It's affirming
a lack. Predicate.
Oh my goodness! It's affirming a lack of a condition for you to have being.
Is it the case that it is true of reality that God is uncaused?
Oh, it depends on which person you're talking about.
Is it the case? Am I expecting a yes or no to my question? Stop dodging, you retard. Is it the case that
I answered your
God
question.
being uncaused is true of reality? Yes or no?
I answered your question.
Yeah, the answer was a yes. Right? So it is true of reality.
That's not what I said. I said it depends on.
Okay, so it is a no. So it is a no. It is a no. Wait, it is okay. So it's no. Okay, cool. So it is not true of reality that God is uncaused.
I didn't say that either.
So wait, hold on. If you're not saying yes or no, then you failed to respond to the question because it's just that Cosmos question, right? It's either yes or no, you retard. It's either true that it is true for reality that God is uncaused, or it is false that it is true for reality that God is uncaused. So if you did not say yes or no, then you dodged the question.
You're referring to when you refer to God, you're referring to three different persons. That's a Trinitarian model. We're talking about the Trinity. That's
irrelevant to what we're talking about.
Clearly, when you say God, we're talking about.
That's completely irrelevant.
Be quiet. That's why I said
we're talking. You said that God is necessarily uncaused. Right?
Shut up, you idiot.
You're actually autistic. It's like so embarrassing. Like this is what happens when like you're low IQ and you have like you're like mentally crippled, right?
They are caused.
And like ragdolled in the conversation. Look, all I'm saying is simply, look, calm down, retard. Just calm down. You're panicking right now. So all I'm saying is simply that now you're dodging to, oh, God is just a representation of the Trinity. But originally, your concept of what God is, and I'm pretty sure it's on the recording, and there are people who can vouch for this, you fucking idiots, is you saying that God is uncaused. And so if you said it's an essential characteristic of God to be uncaused, then say that it is an essential characteristic of the Son to be caused, then necessarily the Son is not God. And so the Trinity is either false, or you're going to want to backtrack on the original definition in this conversation.
You're just retarded, bro.
You actually suck, and you think you saying I'm retarded is a good response to my arguments. So I'm expecting a good response, okay? Stop embarrassing yourself.
Why being uncaused is not a property, so it cannot be an essential attribute, cannot be part of God's.
It's not true of God that he's
We
uncaused.
believe God's essence is no.
It is not true of God that he's uncaused.
That's not what I said, dude.
When I say God is uncaused, is that a proposition? The statement God is uncaused, is that a proposition? Okay, so that means uncaused is a property concession.
Damn. It's a proposition, obviously.
But if it is a proposition, then it has a subject and a predicate. And that means uncaused is a predicate. You autistic fuck. That means uncaused would be a property. All predicates are properties. What are you talking about? Holy shit. You just conceded. You're a dumb idiot. Now, what you're going to want to do is simply talk religion, or you're going to want to do some more research on defended Trinity.
Did I not tell you the distinction between I told you a positive predicate is a property. I don't take
your definition of a positive predicate is compatible with all quote unquote negative predicates. It entails all negative predicates being positive, you idiot.
No, it doesn't.
Because all negative predicates is a certain something. It's a certain the lack of something else. The lack of something else is still something.
But you're not asserting that this thing has something. You're asserting this thing does not
this
have
thing has the lack of something else.
You're
asserting this thing has the absence of something else.
Yeah, you're asserting this thing has the absence.
Something.
You're not asserting a thing of it. You're so dumb.
You're asserting a thing of it by saying this thing is absent of a given property. What are you talking about?
You're asserting is absent.
A thing is just anything which is identifiable. You have existent things and you have non-existent things, right? So in this case, right, when you're talking about the absence of something, it is still the case that you're asserting something to be the case because the absence of any given thing is still something, right? It's a predicate.
You done, Apollo?
Someone not speaking is obviously going to be indicative of them actually finishing their point. Okay, so stop being socially inept in response to my points.
Yeah, I already responded to your point. So
you've already given dog shit responses to my points. No intelligent responses whatsoever. No substantive responses whatsoever. So we're just going to give you 4 more tries to give it like an actual good counter argument.
Yeah. Anyways,
first try.
You misconstrued the divine essence.
Try again, son.
We say the divine essence.
What was the misconception?
Your essay.
Wait, which point did I make regarding what your point actually is, which is a misconception in this conversation?
I'm not getting into this irrelevant tangent.
Okay, no. You made a claim. Now we're gonna have to back the claim up. Okay, so when you asked me what you said regarding what you defined properties and positive predicates to be, you did not disagree with any of the recollection I've given, right, regarding what you've actually said in this conversation. So clearly, it's not the case that I misinterpreted the argument. I interpreted the argument correctly. I recollected what he said correctly, and I've given good responses to your argument. And now because you have no counter arguments, you just resort to the simple, oh, you're dumb, or you're retarded, or you're not tracking fucking comebacks because you got no actual substance in this conversation.
It's either you're gonna keep going on,
and now you're so intellectually stun-locked to the point you're taking so long to give an actual response because you lack any substance and intelligence.
Are you gonna keep talking? You love the sound of your own voice, don't you?
I'm not gonna keep talking, but I'm just making it clear you're intellectually stun-locked.
Yeah, I literally said like 2 words and you began talking. Be quiet.
Yeah,
that either you're gonna keep going on this irrelevant tangent, or we're gonna get to the
stuff. It's not irrelevant for me to point out that you can blow the fuck out in this conversation.
It's completely irrelevant, bro. So now back to what I was saying. You completely misconstrued the divine essence, because the thing is, even though being uncaused is not a property, I don't take it to be a property under my view. Even if we do accept that it's a property, we don't say it's an essential property of God. We don't say God is made up of my fault.
Look, you're just lost. I'm gonna help you out here. I'm just gonna like take your hand and just like walk you back through the conversation. Like what you said originally, that it is the case that something which is a positive predicate, right, is affirming something else, right? And then you also said, when you tried to clarify this concept, is that affirming something of something else, the necessary condition or the sufficient condition for that, both rather, would be you or would be that thing having been. And then when I ask you, what does it mean for something to have been? You said it is the case that something having been is something which exists. And so it's either the case you want to say that God being uncaused, right, that sentence is something which is true of reality, which would mean that that's something which exists in some way whatsoever, or it is not the case. You're actually saying this.
I already told you it's a category error to say, is God uncaused? Because we're talking about, yes, a category error. Because we just asked, is one of the divine persons uncaused? We say yes, that's the Father. But the other
Wait, what
two
do you think it means for
divine
something to
persons
exist?
are not uncaused.
No, I was asking you, what do you think it means for something to exist?
To have being, we're going over this. State of being.
No. You asked, no, sorry. I asked you, what does it mean for something to have been? You said, for something to have been, it exists. I'm asking now, what does it mean for something to exist? So if you're going to say, what does it mean for something to exist, is for it to have been, that would be a circular definition analysis of the words you utilized in this conversation.
Yeah, I think existence is a semantic primitive. I don't really care what you're talking about.
Semantic primitive. Okay, so could you point me to some examples then, if it's a semantic primitive?
So can I point you to some examples of what?
Things which exist.
Things which exist, like you, for example, I exist. You can say.
Okay, so we can just use like an inductive case, right? So generally speaking, things which exist, right, are things which are part of reality, and that things which are in fact the types of things which informs us of reality. And the statement "God is uncaused," right, the predicate "uncaused" right there informs us of reality. So it is most likely the case that given this inductive case, it would be the case that uncaused is an actual thing.
Are you done?
Saying "Are you done?" is not an argument.
I already gave you the argument as to why it's not. You can try to bring an inductive
I just gave an
case.
inductive case given your conceptual analysis that most likely it is not actually
Not
it's not
saying
actually something which is not a property.
this lack of a thing is being or has being in itself. It's the lack of being.
Yeah, I'm just seeing the external states of the concept, right? So given the fact you're unable to give the primary intentional states of the concept, right? I asked you to point me to some actual examples of this, which would be the extensional state. And I'm saying, given our knowledge of actual examples of things which in fact exist, right? There's a consistent trend of things which do in fact exist informing us of reality. And so if that is the case, then more than likely, right, the predicate or the property of uncaused would be something which exists because it does in fact inform us of reality. It informs us of the divine essence of God.
You already made a wrong thing there, but I don't even need to do it. I already explained it.
That was not contradiction. Which proposition do you think is false?
Yeah, the proposition that things that inform us about reality exist. This is dumb.
All right, I'm back. What's going on?
All things that inform us of reality exist.
Sorry, you think that so when I say that I exist, you don't think that's informing any agent of what is true of reality?
Your existence informs people what's true of reality. Yeah.
Okay, so that means it was not false, and I said that generally speaking, these examples would be the types of things which informs people of reality. So you made a false claim when you said my claim. You made a false claim when you said my claim was false.
Things that inform us about reality exist. There can be things that do exist, and those things that do exist inform us about reality. And what we might inform us about
that's irrelevant.
It exists.
It's completely irrelevant.
That doesn't mean that information.
The point is simply that what I'm saying here is simply if you're going to make the argument that something is in fact the type of thing which is not the positive predicate based on the fact that it does not exist, but then we have a consistent trend of things existing, right? Like for all things which exist, right? It informs us of reality in some sense. Then it is the case that it is most likely that this thing would be a part of reality. And so you talked about the idea of non-existent things informing us of reality. Which non-existent things inform us of reality? Could you point me to any of examples? Any example?
You're like, I don't know how you can be this retarded, Apollo, but
I don't know how I can be this retarded to think that I'm retarded. So look, I'm just gonna expect one more time a response to my question. Point me to the non-existent things, all right, which informs us of reality. You dumb fuck idiot.
This is so irrelevant.
Giving you another try, son.
This is so irrelevant. Address my argument.
It is irrelevant. You literally said what your response to my argument is literally you saying that there are non-existent things which informs us of reality to actually devalue epistemic credence of the inductive case, right?
Not what I said. You just strawmanning me. All I told you was your argument saying that things that exist.
Verbatim, you think someone collecting what you're saying verbatim is a straw man?
Stop talking. So what I said was that just because something that exists, like your existence, informs me of a fact about reality, that doesn't mean that the information exists. That means that you exist, and the fact that you exist being known
You're
to my
retarded.
intellect
You're actually
is
retarded.
what
You're
gives
actually
me
retarded.
information about reality,
You're
right?
actually
Doesn't
retarded.
mean
Look, you're actually
information
retarded.
itself
You are
exists.
actually
Oh,
retarded.
those
So
are
we're not saying
opposing
information
arguments as
exists.
an
We're not
follow.
talking about the
An
ontology of
argument
information.
I'm telling you to
We're
address
saying,
is
look,
that argument one
retard,
number two the fact
retard,
that it's a semantic
retard,
contradiction
stop yapping. Retard,
to
stop
say
yapping.
that a
Stop yapping.
lack of something exists.
Retard. Calm down. So what I'm saying is simply that for all the things that we know of which exist, right, it informs us of reality. And so if something fits this condition, then most likely it would exist. It's just a basic inductive argument. We're not talking about the ontology of information. We're talking about the predicates which are associated with the condition of being informative of reality to generate the probability of it being the case that more than likely it is true that this thing would be a part of reality. So you're not even tracking the argument, and you had the audacity to call me retarded when you gave one of the most retarded fucking interpretations of what I actually said in this conversation. Stun locked again? Retard?
No, I
I
think I'm
accept
just
your
done. If you're not gonna like refute my argument, I laid out two arguments.
If you
for
think that's an inductive case
Yeah.
against your views, not the refutation, then you're actually moronic.
It's not. It's not, because even if we grant your induction, the whole thing is I'm telling you it's a contradiction. So Paula, that's the whole thing. Why you're retarded? I'm granting you a semantic contradiction. We're saying a lack
There's
of
no
something
semantic
exists.
contradiction. There's no
It
semantic
is, because
contradiction.
when we say a
We
lack
went
of
over
something,
this,
we're saying the
and I've
thing
educated you on why
does
there's no
not.
contradiction. We've moved
Saying
on from this.
this thing is
So
not, but something that exists is something that is. That's literally direct
yeah,
contradiction.
repeating your
That's
original
direct. You're
definitions,
not
which proves
kidding.
my point, is not going to do you any good in this conversation. I'm sorry.
You're retarded. Like, did you not hear anything I said?
You got like no actual rhetorical comebacks outside of you saying
I
you're
said
retarded.
something
You're
that
retarded.
is,
It's actually so
you're
crazy.
affirming something that is not, and I'm telling you how that's a
You're
direct
using like
P
these
and
like
not,
weak,
and you're
spineless
not
fucking rhetorical
addressing the
jabs
argument.
to actually try to poke at me in this conversation. It's not even working. You're doing so poorly in this rhetorical exchange, right? And on the substance, it's even worse because you try to say that the inductive case I've given in this conversation is not an accurate refutation towards your position when I've correlated the inductive case with the given agreements you've made previously. And so it just confuses me a little bit how you're this delusional, right?
Apollo, what's the opposite of something that is?
whyfun? What's the refutation to what I said in the conversation?
Answer the question. What's the opposite of something that is?
Is this a refutation?
whyfun? Why would that matter in this debate?
Because he's affirming something that is not exists. I'm saying something that exists is something that is, that has being. So if he's saying that something that is not is something that is, that's a direct contradiction. Like, that's so retarded.
No one is saying that.
Obvious
No one is saying
contradiction.
that. No one is saying
You're
that. You're
saying
actually
affirming
retarded.
the lack of something or something being uncaused or property.
Asserting the lack of
I'm
something
telling
in
you,
this
it's
is in
not a
itself
property.
something to be the case.
Because a property has being. This thing does not have being. Because it literally
You're
does.
actually
Follow.
You
Not
can be a
have
property
property.
and realist and still be the.
Wait.
Hold on. Do you understand that like you can have properties of something which do not exist like as an actual thing out there?
Yeah. Hold on. You want to debate? He's up right now. He's up on stage in Skype, but what's it called? Like Infinity
I'm not
kind of
giving
bailed
Skype
him.
activity.
It's got to be activity. Oh my goodness.
Get Infinity to debate T Jump.
It's got to
Yeah,
be
he just
And
left.
besides of T Jump 6 to 8 times unrecorded. Like what am I gonna achieve by beating the guy like for the 9th time? You tell me.
Get that T jump feet. Get that T jump feet.
You jump on stage?
T Jump is not feat of beating him like several times already.
The
All of
Lord
them.
says that you lost. Come on, lock in.
Okay, but
Yeah,
bet
so
Wi-Fi go.
get
Street
Infinity
saying you
the
need to
guy.
lock in, Apollo.
Thank you.
You personally wouldn't take that.
Where's Scott P at?
You personally would take what?
Mono, turn your mic up, man.
Personally wouldn't take this nigga saying that. We'll have to show that by going up to T.
Turn your mic up. It's like
Yo,
really
You said
Paula,
you
can you have-
personally wouldn't take that. What are you talking about?
Personally wouldn't take that disrespect. The street saying. You
Which
need to
disrespect?
lock in. Street saying you need to lock in, gang.
The fuck? Why was my
Can't
shit
even
at
hear what
50?
you're saying, man. Your mic is like a bit low. It's clean, but it's
Yeah,
low.
let me turn the
Or rather,
up,
he's
yeah.
speaking low.
Wait, so who won?
Yeah, Apollo smacked him.
Clorox saying Tony Hawk Pro Skater, bro. Like, what the fuck?
Yo, whyfun don't lose.
Say
I
what?
think,
Yeah,
I think
whyfun was getting he blitzed by
whyfun
word.
don't lose. That's contradicted by the last 2 debates we've had,
nigga, shut
or
up,
every
nigga.
debate we've had.
Calm down.
Whyfun can't get
This nigga
contradicted.
fella.
If it is wrong.
Oh shit.
Whyfun can't get contradicted, so you're wrong.
Bro, you see, this is the